I'm, well, I'm just a simple cat now, but once upon a time I had an extraordinary friend. It all started in our little village, nestled at the foot of the Misty Mountains. I was just a little ball of white fluff then, always getting into mischief. My days were filled with chasing butterflies and napping in sunbeams. But I always felt like something was missing, like I was meant for something more. The mountains called to me in a way I couldn't explain. The villagers would whisper about the fearsome dragon that lived in the mountains. They spoke of his fiery breath and razor-sharp claws with such fear. But I never believed in monsters, until the day I saw him. I had wandered farther than ever before, drawn by a strange feeling. The mountains seemed to call to me, their misty peaks hiding secrets I couldn't resist exploring. And there he was, perched on a cliff, his wings spread wide. He was enormous, with scales as red as the setting sun. I was terrified, but something in his eyes, they looked so sad and lonely. For a moment, our gazes met, and I felt a connection I couldn't explain. I scampered home, my heart racing, but I couldn't forget those eyes. Days passed, and curiosity got the better of me. I ventured closer to his cave, and to my surprise, he didn't roar or breathe fire. He just watched me. I realized then that he was just as curious about me as I was about him. Slowly, day by day, we grew closer. I'd bring him little gifts, a pretty leaf, a shiny pebble. He seemed to like that, and he'd show me things too, how the clouds looked from above, the hidden valleys only he knew. Then came the day that changed everything. I took a leap of faith and nuzzled against his snout. His scales were warm and I could feel his heart beating, just like mine. In that moment I understood. Size, shape, species. None of it mattered. From that moment on, we were inseparable. The fearsome dragon and the tiny kitten. He showed me how to soar above the clouds, and I taught him the joy of simple things. We had picnics on mountaintops and played hide-and-seek in ancient forests. When it rained, he'd shelter me under his wing, and I'd purr him to sleep. The villagers were shocked at first, but soon they saw the gentleness in my friend. He became our protector, and I became the bridge between two worlds. Years passed, and I grew older, but our bond never weakened. Even when I became too old to fly with him, he'd still visit, gentle as ever. Now, as I bask in the warmth of the setting sun, I think of those adventures, of the lessons we learned and the joy we shared, even now. As an old cat, I still look to the skies, remembering my dear friend. And I know that somewhere out there, a red dragon is doing the same. Our story taught me that true friendship can overcome any obstacle, and that sometimes the most unlikely of friends can change your life forever. So little ones, remember, don't judge by appearances and always keep your heart open. You never know when an extraordinary friendship might begin.